Hi Libra, this is your forecast for the month of September 2017. If you have visited me before, I'd like to thank you for returning, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. This is a general reading for Libra Sun, Libra Rising, or Libra Moon. It may be helpful for you to watch your rising and moon sign also. You can join me on Facebook and Instagram for daily insights on tarot and astrology, as well as my pay-per-view channel, vimeo.com/thealchemistastrologer, where you can find on-demand pages for love, finance, and other readings. All right, Libra, so this first week you are dealing with earth energy. This is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just earth energy. So this queen is very good at organizing. She's a business person. She could be somebody that's very creative, maybe a patron of the arts in some way. But she's very fond of the good things in life. Although she is very practical and she's got business acumen, she knows how to sensibly manage her money. So all of those things, if you're not actually dealing with a person like this, those things could be very important to you this week. So, you know, this is somebody who is very concerned with the welfare of others. They nurture other people. And sometimes they forget to nurture themselves in the process. They want to see things prosper. They want to see things grow. So this is a week that could focus on just that, caring for others, nurturing others. Maybe you want to nurture yourself. You're looking after your health, or maybe you're beautifying your home or your environment, or you're working in the garden. But this is just that earthy physical side of life and things that connect to the practicalities, business and financial matters. This is also, you know, having strong family values, and there could be a focus on, you know, raising the family, or again, growing a business. But the Queen of Pentacles is the earth mother. She provides grounding and stability for the people in her life. And because she's so focused on getting some tangible results and working hard, she doesn't take kindly to other people who don't put in that kind of effort, because she's got a very set opinion about how life should be run. And she's very set in her ways. And so she tends to be matter of fact. She sees life in terms of black and white. And she's not even interested in, you know, going back and forth, having a debate on something. You know, she calls it like she sees it, and that's what it is. So she's very straightforward and not so subtle. And so sometimes she can kind of rub people the wrong way because, again, she's very definite in her opinions. But she does offer good insight because she is very good at reading other people and their emotions. And she's very discriminating about her time and the people that she allows to take up her time. So again, those could be things that are important for you, because this is going to be a week where you're going to be thinking about your connection, a partnership, a relationship, or something, and you're going to feel confident about moving that relationship onward to the next level, the next phase, or maybe starting over with somebody from your past, or starting something new with somebody. So you may be connecting with somebody where, you know, you're on par with that person. You're seeing eye to eye. You have the same goals, the same ambitions. You have the same outlook on life. Now, in the negative, again, remember, this is somebody who's very clear about how they see life. And so there's a tendency to overmanage. This person may believe that because they look at life this way that you will too, and maybe they begin to make decisions for you, or they speak for you without really getting your view about it. And that's going to create some friction because now they're kind of taking charge of something. In the negative, this is somebody who is not claiming their personal power. There's a lack of purpose, and maybe they're very emotionally cold, insensitive, and probably because they have built a wall due to some past experiences or disappointments. Now, some of you may be involved with people who are simply focused on the physical, sensual side of life. There's an indulgence. Instead of getting involved in a relationship that has any substance, this is just about, having a fleeting pleasure. Some of you may be involved in struggles with power or financial issues, or you feel as if you can't manifest your dreams. Maybe you're recklessly spending money, you're not managing fiscally, or maybe there's some sexual frustration. There could be issues where there's a sense of entitlement and somebody is status seeking, or they want to, climb the ladder, they're exploiting, or just not using good common sense. Whatever it is, this is going to be a week where you get some kind of breakthrough, some kind of sudden inspiration or insight will come to you, or something you've been investing in is starting to grow. It's going to take off. For others of you, you're connecting with somebody, some unexpected visitor or news. And so this week, you will be very concerned with getting some answers to something. So either somebody will be wanting to know something from you, or you will be wanting to know something from someone else. You want to know exactly the truth of a situation. Now, the second week, you're in a bit of a struggle. Now, maybe you're struggling with that queen, or maybe she's helping you to solve some kind of problem. But there's a feeling of, somewhat unease. Maybe this is within yourself. There's a disruptive force within you that you're grappling with. Or maybe you're having to defend yourself against this queen because, again, she's got some very definite opinions. Maybe you're not living up to what she thinks you should be doing, or she's making some decisions for you, or she's pushing boundaries. Because this could be a week of power struggles and disagreements. Maybe you're in some stiff competition with somebody. Now, if she's behaving underhandedly, perhaps there is some maliciousness going on, some kind of underhanded maneuvers taking place. But this is a week where you're going to want to seek out some freedom. You want to move ahead in a direction of your choosing, and you're willing to take some risks to do that. So there are going to be some unexpected situations, either at work or at home or both, that because some boundaries are being pushed, you're going to step back a minute and you're going to question yourself. And maybe the queen is instigating that. Maybe she's the trigger for it. But you are looking at yourself and your goals, your work, your belief system, and you're questioning also your relationships with the people that are connected to you. Now, in the positive, you're going to take this energy to come up with some solutions. You're working with others in order to solve problems. Everybody's putting their idea in for the greater good. So for you, this is going to be a week where you're going to take on more. You're going to step up to the plate. You're going to act with integrity and honor. And you're not necessarily concerned with who's carrying more of the load. You just want to make something happen. And so you may volunteer to do more, even if that wasn't initially your first impulse. Also, regardless of how you're being pushed, if you're coming across strong characters, you're going to be able to maintain your equilibrium. You're not going to let them push you in ways. You may feel upset inside. You may feel some kind of inner storm brewing, yet you'll resist the temptation to go too far and to overstep those bounds. So this is a week of solving some kind of problem, finding some type of exhilaration in what you're doing and feeling as if you can do anything. And maybe you're trying to break out of some kind of routine because, again, the Queen of Pentacles, if you were carrying her energy, she's very stuck in her ways. And so this could be a week where you need to let go of a situation and move on. Now, you could be, again, in struggles with others where either you or another person is creating some difficulty. They're actually making a situation much harder than it needs to be. And you could get into an ego battle with another person where perhaps you start an argument about a particular situation. You say you did this and it creates this very tense dialogue. But even that was just an excuse to get the ball rolling because that's really not what the root of the problem is. There's something much, much deeper that perhaps you haven't even addressed. And that's the real cause of conflict. This could also be a week where you're indecisive. You're having difficulty making your decision. And so maybe you're using the lesser traits of that queen. You're not claiming your personal power because you just don't know what direction you should move in. And maybe you're overcome, struggling because of some financial issues or because you can't seem to gain your sense of authority. And so this could be a week where it's very difficult for you to make decisions and to make up your mind. And that spinning, within you is making it difficult for you to get along with others. You're spinning out of control and, it's spilling over into your everyday actions with other people and making you difficult to get along with. This is also a week of problems. So you can count on having to deal with one thing after another. So as soon as you wrap this up, you have this loose end to tie. And it's probably because maybe you're overmanaging. Maybe you're insisting on, trying to deal with a situation that really has no solution. And so, you're working on something and you feel like you can't relax or you can't move ahead until this is solved. And in fact, this is a dead end. So you may need to let go and move on from something. Now, the third week, you have this very strong tie to the past. Perhaps you're struggling with the past. Maybe you're struggling with a friendship or a child, or maybe that Queen of Pentacles ties to the past in some way. But this is a week that focuses on old friends, people who feel like family, your childhood friends. It could be a former lover or just somebody connected to your past. For some of you not claiming your power, this is you still being tied to the apron strings of someone. Or this could be somebody who is just, Debbie Downer, that stick in the mud. They're creating problems because that's all they see is the pessimistic side of life. In the positive, this is just about some goodwill. You're renewing some old ties. You're having some exchanges with other people. For some of you, if you're trying to grow business, maybe you get some type of job offer or somebody is, offering their feelings. So this is a week where you're looking back, you're looking over something, you're doing a review of your history, and positively you realize how far you've come in the struggle and you feel very blessed by where you are. Now, if you were at odds with somebody, this could be the week where that gets cleared up. If they had accused you falsely of something, you may be able to clear yourself this week. Or, there may be an opportunity where somebody can say they're sorry, or they can say they care, or they love you, or thank you, or you get recognized for the work that you've put in. But there's some appreciation flowing back and forth between you and another person. And in fact, good seeds that you planted in the past could bear some fruit for you right now. They could blossom, and somebody could say, hey, you remember when you did that for me? I got something for you. I never forgot it. Let me offer this to you. So this is going to be a week, again, where the past is strongly influencing the present. And so you're going to have a number of deja vu experiences, things that feel very familiar, going back full circle to things. And you're going to be ahead of the curve because your intuition is going to kick in. You're going to feel something, and lo and behold, you were right on mark, or you felt like something was about to happen and it did. Also this week, be very mindful of your dreams. There could be some important messages for you in those. It's very likely that you're going to hear from someone from your past, or you're going to hear about someone from your past. And some things that you thought were closed to you, they're going to open up. Opportunities cross your way this week. If you applied for something and you thought, I never heard from these people, I wonder if I'm ever going to hear from them, this could be the week you do. Or you call somebody and, they didn't get back to you. Or you wanted to make something happen for yourself and you thought, it's not possible. This could be the week when that happens. But on the flip side, if you did something in the past that wasn't right, if you made a mistake, if you made an error, if you didn't use good judgment, if there was some indiscretion, something that you wanted to be, swept under the rug, or even not taking care of yourself the way you should, you could have an issue come up this week, a medical issue, or just, having to face that indiscretion, and it's popping up to your disadvantage. In that case, somebody may be getting in touch with you, or you may have to deal with something that you didn't really want to. You were trying to avoid them, and yet now, because of circumstances, you're having to face up to it. In the positive, this is about, that feel good connected to the past, home, and the people that we feel good about. So for some of you, you're again focused on the physical, enjoyable side of life, taking care of yourself, pampering yourself, or understanding that you need to, look more into you and what your needs are and your own inner beauty, what you have to offer, and nurturing that inside of yourself. Now, the last week you have this Tower card. So you're ending the month with a bang. So this is a major card, some changes taking place that are inevitable, that you probably don't have a lot of control over. They're coming in suddenly, abruptly, and probably in ways that you didn't expect. Now, this could be, if you have an encounter with somebody, maybe they, showed up out of the blue. But for others of you, if there's a problem and you're struggling with it, this could be some really tense discussions, maybe even arguments. Positively, maybe there's some revelations or some insights, maybe some things you were resistant to hearing, but that you needed to face. Whatever it is, it feels very disruptive. It feels shocking because there was something that in your life that you felt was a solid structure that is now collapsing. It's being released. Now, this may be a good thing. Let me just say that it is a good thing, whether it feels that way or not, because whatever it is, it's somewhere that you weren't growing or moving, where the universe decided that they had to step in and take over. So it's usually the destruction of something that was corrupt or not structurally sound. There were some flaws in whatever this was, a relationship, a situation, an environment. So you are making some major transformations this week, and maybe you reach crisis point in that, but ultimately it's going to lead to your release in some way, some newfound freedom for you where you were bound to a situation. Now this may show up as a new job, or maybe you're changing your residence, but it could be a wake-up call. Maybe you're having some financial difficulties, or maybe you're having to separate or divorce, or there's been an accident, or there's some kind of problems with property. So this could be a traumatic experience that makes you wake up to a situation and deal with it in a better way, where you realize that you need to take charge. In the positive, you are gaining some new understanding, something that you hadn't been facing, and you may find it to be empowering for you in some way. You may be very direct yourself. You may be saying some things that have never been said that you finally release. So you could be harnessing your own personal power, or working very hard to manifest your plans and your dreams by taking a leadership role. So this is the great week for you, making some important changes to rebuild the parts of your life or some behaviors that you've been participating in that have really been blocking you and keeping you in a struggle from making the most of yourself and of your life. So again, something that you wanted but no longer needed may be ripped out of your grasp. So if this is a health issue, this could be, you having to face the music because you haven't been taking care of yourself physically. You haven't been, following the doctor's advice, or you've been putting, your doctor's appointment off. You haven't been getting the medical attention for a situation, or, you haven't been eating properly or exercising properly, or something you haven't been paying attention to now is front and center. It could also be that, you have been feeling a lot of pressure, and suddenly that just explodes and releases. So it's saying that in many ways, maybe you've been too rigid, that you've been emotionally inflexible in your relationships, or either somebody you're dealing with. Now, maybe you're dealing with somebody who's just very aggressive. They're trying to dominate you and maybe traumatize you in some way. This is a week where your worldview, your perception of life is being strongly challenged. Your identity, who you think you are, is being challenged, perhaps turned upside down. So professionally or financially, you may be forced, given circumstances, to have to rely on yourself. But you're going to come to a revelation that that's the source of your success. It's you. It's like Dorothy wearing those red shoes. She had the power all along. So this is a week where it's easy for you to face your doubts. And so again, some of you are going to be telling it like it is. Something is going to come out of your mouth that shocks some people. And whatever truths you find out this week, you're just glad you know what they are. And then you're going to start quickly readjusting, reorienting, changing your strategy in ways that give you better personal security and make you more autonomous. So how quickly you can reorganize is the skill that's going to be tested this week. Remember, Darwin's theory was not just survival of the fittest, but the species that was most adaptable. And that is your key. Now, on the flip side, some of you may be hearing some things that you don't like. And again, you are having to face that you were stuck in situations and trying to hold on to a situation, and you were, in spin controls, spinning a tale for yourself about why you were doing something and trying to convince yourself that this was the best thing for you. Or maybe some, truth or secret comes out because in the past there was a tendency for you to hold back. You were only metering out the information that you thought somebody needed, and not a bit more, not a drop more than that. And ultimately, that leads to some kind of unavoidable misunderstanding. What you should not be doing this week is seeing yourself as a victim. This is about knowing that you played a role in wherever you are at this moment in time. And it's also about knowing what your limitations are, what you're capable of changing, and learning to accept those things that you cannot change, so that you're not your own worst enemy and working against yourself. This is a powerful card, and it says, whatever is happening, as uncomfortable as it is, buckle up your seatbelt and go along with the ride. Go with the flow of things. That's your answer. Now, the underlying issue is this Three of Swords. So there is some frustration in a situation for you, perhaps even some grief. Now, hopefully, this isn't a medical situation. If it is, it's probably something that came on suddenly. It could be the type of illness that, maybe high blood pressure, or a stroke, or heart attack, something that comes suddenly. It could be a need to have some kind of surgery. So please, if you are needing to look after your health, seek some medical attention, get with the program, take care of yourself. You are all that you have. Nothing else means anything if you don't have your health in order. This could also be a month where there's some kind of grief. Perhaps you have an argument, with somebody from your past, that maybe somebody says something that's very cutting, either you or the other person. And so you end up parting or ending the relationship, or there's some kind of emotional disturbance that you're suffering through. It's causing you some anguish. There could even be a sense of being alienated or rejected in some way, or somebody's not giving the same thing the other person is. And again, for some of you, there's something that's going to come out. Some bitter secret is going to be revealed. Now, hopefully, maybe because the Six of Cups can also be an old lover, hopefully this isn't like a love triangle situation or a rejected lover. Whatever this is, regardless of what's happening, it's happening for a reason. And that's the point. When we face difficult challenges, it's not necessarily just what's happening, but why is this thing happening? And it's happening for you to gain a better understanding of yourself, for you to change the way you're looking at a situation. And this is going to be a month where maybe you feel a lot of strong emotions about something, and it's difficult for you to be rational about what's going on. It could be that there's a break in communication or a breakdown in negotiations where all of a sudden things got real. For some of you, maybe this has been a long time coming. Again, the Tower says that there has been some pressure that's been building and building until, it just could not be withstood anymore and it had to be released. So you may be, you maybe get some bad news and you're not all that surprised about what you hear, even if you wanted something to flow a particular way and it didn't. On some level, you probably knew that it wasn't going to. And you may just be relieved that it's finally over. You've moved past it. And now you can come up with an alternate plan for yourself. But for others of you, that Tower was shocking. And it's causing, again, some heartbreak, some anguish, because you really didn't expect this thing to happen. And you're feeling a great sense of disappointment about the outcome, or a situation, or a person. And you're struggling with trying to cope with the situation. It could be, again, something emotional, some sudden outburst, or maybe something just completely fell apart. There was a cancellation at the last minute. Whatever it is, it says, again, look at self. The Tower says somehow, somewhere along the way, you were a key player in events. And so maybe it's, a habit of self-sabotage, or again, feeling like you're a victim, this self-pity. But what it's really telling you is, are you using your time wisely? Are you investing your energy the way you should? Are you in relationships that are meaningful? Are you really living up to your full potential and using your talents where you should? Or are you always trying to cut corners? Are you trying to come up with that quickie solution, that backdoor scheme, or the shortcut that leads to nowhere? So some of you are going to be dealing with some kind of delay, or some kind of disappointment, or some kind of loss, or setback, or difficulty, or challenge, because you weren't focused in a way, for success. Either you overestimated or underestimated a situation, a person, or your own talents. So the frustration has to do with, your sense of success, getting the recognition you deserve. And some of you may realize that it's time to stop struggling and to accept a situation for what it is. Now, again, this is going to center around your ability to remain rational, to not allow your moods or your emotions to overcome you in spite of what you may be facing with other people or in your environment. Whatever is happening around you, how you deal with it is going to be very important. Number 3s are also connected to your creativity, your fertility, your ability to produce. And this is also going to connect to your relationships, how constructive or self-defeating the manner in which you engage, or how you're allowing yourself to be handled by others, both professionally and personally. So you may be struggling to accept the truth of a situation, and you may be very, adamant about it being a particular way. You really wish things were different, but the truth is what it is. Some of you may feel very confused and unsure about something, and you may need to find somebody that has some kind of experience or somebody who can guide the way for you. Maybe that queen is offering her help and she can help you solve a problem to gain some insight into a situation. For some of you, there are issues that you are recovering from, maybe some type of addiction, and maybe you're attending some kind of support group with others. There could also be issues where there is some emotional unpleasantness to a situation, or you're either working through the last stages of some kind of emotional issue. You may feel emotionally restless about something because you are being challenged to rethink who you are. Some of you, this tie to the past has to do with trying to reestablish communication with your family. There may be a need to make some changes in some way in order to survive. Again, some structure that you've been holding on to that is collapsing in front of you. And yet, instead of facing it, there's some hiding out. Now, for others of you, you're going to have some physical symptoms that are directly related to the stress that you are under. All right, Libra, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. And of course, you can always book a personal reading at thealchemistastrologer.com.